And here we have our maps and champions up, Blood Run, Corrupted Keep, and Awoken. What do you all think about the champ picks here?
That's a man that respects RAISY's clutch and says, I'm good. I don't want to deal with it. I like that. That's a smart move right there.
Yeah, that is something. We've got Galena versus Sorlag on Blood Run. Obviously, RAISY going to want to take the game to Cooler, who will have to play slower positional than Galena, which I'm sure he will. He would definitely respect the aggression coming out from RAISY. Corrupted Keep, we're seeing strong come out from Cooler. It's not something we've seen, but we know how strong he is on that map anyway, whereas RAISY loves to pick that Doom. And then if we get to Awoken, Galena versus Visor, interesting pick of Visor on Awoken, but we've seen it used before to great effect.
Yeah, and against the Nyx as well, he has the slight advantage there with the piercing sights in case he tries to get away in any way, shape or form. But in terms of the map choices and the bans, it seems very even. You see RAISY straight away banning Blood Covenant, which is understandable. It's either Blood Run or Blood Covenant. It's pick your poison at that moment in time, so he's probably a little bit more comfortable on Blood Run anyway. Corrupted Keep, RAISY managed to let that slip in, but he's been slightly weaker on Corrupted Keep compared to previous matchups in the past. So it seems like he's been a little bit better on Veil, and Cooler has clearly noticed that.
Well, the next two games will determine the next two and the final two players to make it into the final state tomorrow. So let's shoot on over to our commentators. This time, it's Ketchup and Flea.
So, Flea, if I were to put you on the spot and ask you on the spot prediction here.
Difficult, dude. I feel like I'm gonna say what we said earlier. If we were talking about Cooler last week, I would have given it to RAISY hands down, but Cooler has been looking so good. RAISY going down against his teammate earlier. I definitely a 2-1, but I'm slightly favoring Cooler actually.
Well, we're just about to find out what's going to happen as we start things off on Blood Run. Now, Cooler, I assume he's going to play somewhat of a slow game, as he has been. But as we can see, the champion matchup alone, the Galena and the Sorlag, RAISY just likes those fast, big bodies today. But as the other chaps quite rightly pointed out, I'm glad to see the clutch was removed. I know RAISY has been able to sneak it in a bunch in this tournament. Sometimes there might have not been a ban potential, you know, but the fact that he doesn't get to use it in this series is pretty good.
Absolutely. Slow start. RAISY, of course, has the bigger stack, has got the better mobility as well, but Cooler has got the utility of the totems. Careful on the peak, you've got to be so cautious looking over the edge, because you can actually just be lifted straight back up. Shoddy versus Shoddy, and it'll be RAISY getting the first frag. 34 points of health. Looked like it might have gone to Cooler at one point, but the spit helped out tremendously as RAISY putting himself on the board first.
You know, all things considered, Cooler didn't do a bad job with that damage. He really, I think, got as much damage as he possibly could have before getting taken out. But we have to ask the question, what does this mean now? You know, now RAISY has that first frag. You're noticing he's immediately slowing things down. He's sticking his ear to the ground and listening out for where Cooler might be. There's going to be a big focus on having to just get your base stack up now as high as it can be, because even with your Acid Spit, if Cooler has massive stack and a totem, that is going to be a lot of ability to restack in the middle of a fight. And now RAISY, he was on the hunt at the start, wasn't he, Flea? Yeah, now he's immediately changed his tone. The instant gear shift, if you will.
Cooler likely to feel heavy if he gets the chance. Indeed, he does not. But he wants the heavy. He has the totems of his own. If he can drop them down somewhere on that side of the map and keep control of heavy, he doesn't even need to prioritize Mega one bit, because he's got the health overstack of his own no matter what.
Totem initiated.
Now Cooler sitting pretty in the center of the map.
But this is the most important.
Faking the rocket jump.
Yeah, he's faking it out. Oh, right, RAISY's not going to bite though. He's automatically wise to it, I think. And there's a huge delay between these two items, so Cooler repositioning himself. Looks like he's not particularly sure where RAISY actually is. Trying to get a little bit of that spam around the corner. Information for RAISY and a little bit of free damage. But with this 1-1 situation, looks like there might be a bit of a head-on collision right here. And Cooler having to disengage. Thankfully, the heal is going to stop the acid damage over time effects. That's good. Most importantly, for shutting down that information from RAISY. He's got the heavy, but no health at all. I'll be shocked if he survives. And actually, wait, a good job of being able to just wait for the LG to run out of ammo.
Yep, Cooler, I like the positioning there. He stood as far back as he possibly could in that room just so he could continue to tickle RAISY with that LG. But then when he switched for the rockets to finish it off, RAISY saw his opportunity and slipped on through the net. Now Cooler though, tremendous control. Excellent stack. RAISY has to be careful. Cooler trying to set up a bit of a trap. Oh, that's gonna give him a lot of information. As he hears his opponent go back up on the bounce pad. Perfect delay between the items too, around 15 seconds on each, so that should help Cooler stay in control and rotate both of them to his favor.
It does create the mind game of Galena, knowing that every time you use a teleporter, there is an opportunity that you're going to take damage. And it's often not about the damage, it's like you said, it's the information. Galena knowing exactly where you are at that time makes a big difference on a map as small as this and as position heavy as this. Now Cooler keeping that light in play. No need to take it away just yet with the amount of armor he's currently sitting on. And also denying the all-important information from RAISY. A slow game on both sides here, but that armor alone has given Cooler the knowledge. Center of the map, now the heavy. The next course of action from both sides. But at least he knows he can disengage now and take that heavy almost instantly. And RAISY's been outstacked pretty much all of this map. Oh, that was unfortunate.
Yeah, good damage.
Sucked.
Looks like RAISY though, just going straight back up on the bounce pad, and Cooler playing a calm, collected and disciplined game. Doesn't want to pressure his opponent too much in that situation, is going to prioritize the item pickups. Reads RAISY perfectly, knowing very well that the Sorlag, she needs a lot of armor to work to her full potential. And so he knows that RAISY wants to get a hold of that small armor piece as well, reading it tremendously well, killing him. Good rockets there too. Now Cooler though, he is a bit on the back foot. Doesn't have any armor to his name. And there's not much available to him either. He has to be so careful that he doesn't just run into RAISY as he hears him jump around the corner there.
That missed rail. That is the green light for RAISY. The second you see a miss rail like that and you've got that kind of stack, you know RAISY licking his lips. He's ready to go in to feast. But now as the heavy. So much of this map has taken place in the dead center. Too close to call who has the advantage in this situation on the stack, though. RAISY knows it's an absolute death sentence to use the teleporter, and I love sticking down there and just hitting a good rocket angle. Information comes again. The damage over time. He stopped the bleeding, but RAISY's like, okay, I see you, I see you.
Cooler's gonna hear his opponent right above him. Oh, I'm surprised RAISY went for that actually. I figured that he would try and bait out Cooler, hearing him above him, knowing that Cooler probably wanted that small armor as well. By jumping first, RAISY actually opened himself up to a rocket from above, straight on the top of his head, and he lost a lot of stack, gave up a lot of ground, and now it's actually Cooler with the advantage in control. And Cooler, he wants to make something out of this. He knows that his opponent is still tender. He does not want to let that Sorlag, the big, chunky, thick champion, get that stack right back up. He wants to put an end to this now before RAISY can chain together too many of these small armors.
This is a pretty tense moment, I think, because with Cooler working on this giant stack, all it's going to take is that one time RAISY can just appear. And then you've got splash damage, you've got acid spit, and Cooler actively trying to avoid it. It's kind of shades of the Kilson match, actually, where he's just never... He's never overextending. As we can see, RAISY's having to play a really patient game because he knows that Cooler is the one that's in control of the items. And the acid spit's gone. I mean, that might give Cooler a bit more confidence as he now takes this heavy. Ooh, nice patience from RAISY, the double back just as the Mega spawns, maybe thinking that Cooler was going to get a bit too comfortable with that stack, pushing on and keeping the Mega. RAISY punishes him for it, Flea.
Absolutely so, and with 2 minutes left on the clock, RAISY, this might be an opportunity for him to start building some speed. Great exit rocket there from Cooler though. RAISY has to be careful. He wants that heavy, he's got the timing as well, but he has no clue where Cooler is at. Cooler is actually right below him, so jumping across might open him up to some LG damage. Cooler a bit slow to react. The rail will connect though, but RAISY still. But a decent stack, doesn't want to give up the Mega just like that. Wants to land at least a rail but will give it up just so he can get better position for this next engagement.
I love Cooler's plan of never pushing too hard so far. I know he did get caught out on the Mega. It seemed a little bit like he wasn't fully expecting RAISY to go back in that direction, but as long as Cooler keeps this gigantic stack difference, and a totem as well, as we go into what I can only assume is inevitably going to be a sudden death, Cooler needs to squeeze out as much advantage as possible against an explosive champion like Sorlag. And a player as aggressive as RAISY, I suppose.
1 minute left on the clock. Neither player wants to overextend right now when the stakes are this high. Keep in mind, guys, whoever wins this matchup advances. Loser will be out of the tournament for good. So Cooler does have a stack advantage, but he is reluctant to push, knowing that RAISY has got that spit, that acid at the ready. And if he gets too close, we've seen it before, right? Cooler getting up close and personal, even though he had the better stack to begin with, RAISY actually just slaps back instantly, and that additional damage plus the ticking over time just melted his opponent just like that. So Cooler, cautious plays all around.
Important to take away as much totems as you can when with this late on. Can't let Cooler back out. He knows there's going to be a totem near teleporter, so I don't think he's actually going to use the teleporter down south until he knows it's gone. That was a very bad rocket to get hit by, because now RAISY pretty tender, all things considered. And he still knows that one teleporter exit now is going to be shut down unless he can take out the totem. So his mobility is going to get cut pretty significantly as well. There's the answer. Oh, but he can't give his position away, so it's a difficult situation.
He wants to sneak on by. He knows he's going to take damage if he runs into it, so he's just waiting for the time to blow it up. There we go, immediately dropping down the acid as well. Very clever play from RAISY. He did that entirely to deny the heavy. He wanted to make sure that Cooler couldn't just jump around the corner, bully him out of the way, and then steal the item. So by laying down that protective barrier of acid, he basically ensured that Cooler couldn't go for that. And now RAISY is actually the one who has turned around control. He has both of the major items to his name. He wants to find Cooler now.
He knows that taking out that totem is going to give his position away to Cooler, so he already had the rail angle prepared. He hits the rail. This could be the end of the map. Absolutely. Unless Cooler is able to get some stack and fast. The danger now is that the heavy gets taken. He's going to have to teleport around here. Cooler looks for some bonus damage. Where does RAISY cut him off? Because just like that, he's got full control. Both of the items, and Cooler's still on the hunt for some armor at the very least. This is a terrible turnaround for Cooler.
Good LG.
I think that's it. This has to be it. Bang!
Indeed it was. The LG was just too strong. Cooler held his own, trying to just kill that momentum from RAISY flying around the corner. But RAISY just had that speed, he had the accuracy of his own, and Cooler just couldn't hold his own.
It was a hard-fought map. The vast majority of it, actually, Cooler was the one that was in control. And, I mean, you kind of grow to see that level of care from both players. RAISY, such an intimidating player to go against, where the moment he smells blood in the water, he goes all out. But he's reserved enough to wait for that moment. He rarely tries to, unless he's playing clutch, he'll rarely try and force the issue. He will play it patiently and just wait for that one moment to turn things around. And it took, you know, like 9.5 minutes to find that. That was just impressive all round for RAISY, and we're late in the day too. Mental fortitude goes a long way for those kind of extended maps.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now the next map should be coming on shortly. It will be Corrupt Keep, RAISY's pick, of course. RAISY's Keep, RAISY's pick. Both of them apply this time. Cooler looks like he will be running the Strog, one of the favorite picks on this map, because of course no railgun means that there's very little that your opponent can do to take down that peeker, except for, quite frankly, just take a lot of damage as it's coming towards you, or use the shoddy at the last possible second. So clever pick from the Russian, whereas Maestro RAISY retaliates with the Doomslayer, going for that added vertical mobility. The double jump can be very useful, especially around that mega side of the map. We saw RAISY play him on this map earlier, I think, as well, and he just made very good use of that double jump around the mega.
As we can just see that pretty all-round impressive performance from RAISY. A bit more of a classic Blood Run result, 3 frags to 2. A lot of a slower pace, and for almost a good 5 minutes, neither player wanting to overextend too much. But the moment you get that one chance to pounce, RAISY will do just that, and his style so unique in that sense. I really love to see it, and it's why he can be such an absolute animal on these smaller maps. But it sounds like we're loading into our next map, so in about a minute's time we should be there. Thanks everyone for joining us so far. Remember, Quake World Championships, we're in the later stages now, right before going into Championship Sunday, with it being Cooler and RAISY. Cooler, can he be a two-time champ? For RAISY, this is his redemption story, a massive underperformance in Stage 3 that he is already, I think, redeeming himself on. But knowing RAISY, he's not going to be satisfied unless he makes it the Sunday. He's all out for #1.
Yeah, absolutely. He wants to redeem himself indeed, but this is going to be a tall order. We saw Cooler plays this map to perfection earlier today. He just denied his opponent pretty much every single resource on the map, so it is extremely important for RAISY that he consistently manifests himself, particularly around that center area of the map, and stops Cooler from getting comfortable and actually start that cycle of item control.
So, here we go into map 2. Strog versus the Doomslayer. Cooler gonna get the heavy side, which is a good side for him actually, and the super shotgun can be enough to cause some real damage, but RAISY actually able to dodge this peeker, and Cooler takes a little bit of free damage in return.
Cooler, bit of a stack advantage. He's got the armor to his name. RAISY lacking it. Now, as so often is the case on this map, no immediate clarity on who gets out on top of that LG, though. Murderous Cooler. Can he still get out? Can he escape? Looks like he will. He doesn't know where RAISY is, though. RAISY already went over to the mega side of the map. Cooler is still looking, hoping to catch any trail of his opponent. RAISY is going to go aggressive, but what? Cooler, completely caught off guard in a bad position, whips out the super shotty and just finishes it off just like that. RAISY though, instant refrag.
It looked like he was in such an awkward close range that right as RAISY tried to go for the flick, one of those shots just did not hit their mark.
No.
However, he's going to hear the Mega, so RAISY has timing on that. She'll have timing on both of them. And he's got the super shotgun, rocket launcher, two incredibly popular weapons on this map, especially with the super shotgun as powerful as it is. But it's the timing now. The next course of action. Items, this one's going to be the heavy. RAISY and Cooler both trying to deny that all-important information.
Good rockets.
Really good rockets, but Cooler does take the heavy himself, so there is that air of denial pushing in. The light is ready to take, but RAISY just does not have a lot of health. Thankfully, in this room, there's so many lights that you can soak up. And that light's going to go to Cooler. RAISY knows, okay, you've got Mega, you've got light. I have to be very careful with how I approach this next fight here.
9 times out of 10, that would have been a clear frag for Cooler. But RAISY did like 250 damage with those defensive rockets right there, something absurd like that. And that is what allowed him to stay alive. And again, the rockets, brilliant. Pushing away Cooler and allowing RAISY to steal away a heavy, plus set up a good rotation on the Mega as well. Cooler caught off guard. Wow! Down just like that. RAISY. Ketchup, he just turned it around in the blink of an eye.
Has to show a lot of respect on this spawn, with the rocket launcher being the item of choice, and that super shotgun, by all means, he might be able to punish this with another shotgun. He has to show respect to the rockets, though. Heavy is not going to get picked up. Cooler trying to stick around, but a couple of seconds too early.
Solid use of the super shotgun as well by RAISY, of course. He constantly is finishing off his opponent by a quick switch, a quick flick to that shoddy for the final bit of damage, knowing that it is almost guaranteed to land, as opposed to the trickier rockets that have, of course, a bit of travel time. Now RAISY, 2 frags in the lead, but things can change oh so quickly on the map that is corrupted deep. Cooler, super aggressive right there. I don't think RAISY was expecting that.
But it looks a lot like Cooler accidentally did some rocket self-damage instead of the spam that would have done a little bit of that heavy that RAISY collected. So that's kind of a happy little accident if you're in RAISY's shoes, but it's going to give him the go-ahead to push now a little bit too. The defensive rockets are really good. Cooler, understandably, is not going to push this. with Heavy about to spawn. If RAISY's able to pick this one up, it's going to be a bit of a problem. I love the LG there from Cooler, and the fact that no rail, I mean, it does make the Pika a little bit more troublesome to take out. You can't go for that quick little switch and a flick, right?
That's exactly what we mentioned earlier. If that would have been any other map, a railgun would have taken care of that instantly.
Indeed.
But this is a rough to keep. You have to go for the LG in that situation, and it just is unable to destroy the Peaker on time. Cooler starting a bit of a comeback. We're not even halfway through the map, so he absolutely has no reason to rush his place. And it looks like he should be able to cycle some of these items as well. Mega first, Heavy shortly after.
The early Pika. Bit of free damage. Opportunity to soak up some of that ammo. Oh no, the mistake! A very rare mistake from Cooler. Definitely feels bad to see that.
Same thing that happened over at the Heavy earlier, only this time around it actually costed him a whole frag.
Yeah.
That hurts. That hurts. Beautiful plays from Cooler, making something that resembles the beginning of a comeback appear out of thin air, but then one bad rocket. And of course, it isn't just the self-damage, it's the fact that you get pushed up into the air, exposing yourself to that LG. Oh, good play from RAISY Cooler. We've seen a lot of Peaker coming out from above.
I am very worried.
Having the ledge, yeah. But then when RAISY uses that double jump to get up there with you, you're in big trouble, mister.
With how these couple of frags have gone so far, this is absolutely on the verge of just falling to pieces for Cooler. The two disastrous frags back to back, the error of the rocket, and then the Pika that just got dealt with by RAISY. Oh, he gets the Mega at just the right time. RAISY, I think the mission there was to maybe force a suicide trade, but he did a bunch of damage. Cooler has been immediately put down, and there's not a lot of armor to collect. Only a little bit.
Cooler now sitting up towards Heavy. The pressure is of course on him. Got a lot of time to work with still, but he needs to start dishing out the damage. This is a good opportunity. RAISY, I don't know if he just mistimed the item or thought that he would be able to push Cooler back by dropping down and taking the LG fight, but nevertheless he shows up early, takes a bunch of damage, and allows his opponent to run away with the Mega health instead.
This is an opportunity to gain some momentum if you're in Cooler's position. I do like that RAISY, I mean, what really this is going to do is waste a lot of time too. RAISY prioritizing that left-hand side, it can be a bit tricky to chase someone down, even with the crouch slide movement. But Mega Room, Cooler on the hunt for RAISY right now. He's got perfect timing on both of these items now, Cooler and the items. I mean, the man is built for control. Yes, get frags. That is the #1 goal, isn't it?
Yeah. Now RAISY just kind of sitting and holding tight over towards the rocket area of the map. Cooler hasn't been around there for quite some time. He is gonna spot his opponent. RAISY is very strategic in where he's taking these fights. He wants to fight in these closer and closed areas of the map where he can shine with the double jump and the rockets. Now LG on LG, RAISY wants nothing to do with that, knowing very well that he is outstacked and disadvantaged if he takes that fight head on. He has to just disappear. Cooler faking the rocket jump, going through the teleporter instead. But RAISY is long gone already. This is starting to look a bit dire for the Russian catch-up.
There is a complete change of direction for RAISY. The objective now is to run. He's completely running away, but he's making himself as annoying to follow as possible. There's no clear-cut chasing path for the most part. RAISY is giving Cooler a bunch of options that he kind of has to make a hard read on for where he's going to run. The self-damage for the rocket, absolutely worthwhile, because it means that he can now waste even more time. How long has it taken for Cooler to get even one frag in this situation? And look, he can't find an angle on the guy.
RAISY just perfectly playing this right now. Cooler, he was looking at that small armor, probably thought for a moment about denying it, realized he just doesn't have the time. And in doing so, he's leaving up a lot of these resources for RAISY. Just because he doesn't have the time, the opportunity to pick them up himself, he has to leave them scattered around the map. And RAISY, every time he walks on by, he's like, oh, well, I'll take that. I'll top up my stack a bit more. And that is just putting Cooler in an increasingly disadvantaged position. RAISY, where is he?
Where did he go?
Has no clue. Where is he at? Cooler!
Nothing personal, kid! He teleports right behind him twice! Oh, no!
Oh,
That was a disaster for Cooler! RAISY! The GG's coming out. Not even a minute left to go. That is a heartbreaker, Flea.
What even happened right there? It just, RAISY was set up on that ledge near the windowsill. Cooler jumps on through, takes one rocket, and I think that at that point, Cooler thinks that RAISY has already left. He's probably thinking RAISY is up on the ledge towards the bounce pad. He starts frantically looking around, trying to determine RAISY's location, but RAISY's still just up there, and instead just walked on by, getting an angle from the different side of the window, and then Cooler, a bit of a panicked reaction, it feels like, switching to the peeker, just desperate to do a bit of damage. They just can't find his opponent at all, and then RAISY, as you said, nothing personnel kit, indeed, rushing on through. And that is going to spell GG. RAISY, a clean 2-0 victory, qualifying for the finals day tomorrow.
We talked about the redemption story, Flea,
yeah,
and consider yourself redeemed as an absolute base, as now RAISY is going to qualify for Championship Sunday. It is going to be 2 out of the 3 spots belonging to Maestro. They will be proud of their boys, and it's a good day for them.
Interesting to note, though, on the EU side, not a single holder of the belt that actually makes it into finals day. A lot of people are expecting to see Cooler again, or Skilson to be sure. But all we've got is, of course, we've got Wenger, we've got CNZ, and now we've got RAISY as well. So no player who has yet put his name on the belt actually qualifying for the finals tomorrow.
So RAISY is going to be the final player in this side of the world making it to tomorrow's games. While we wait to break things down and move into our final match of the day, we're going to go for a break. See you soon.